Merhaba, and welcome back to the Ottoman campaign in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. So, this will be quite the battle. If I'm not mistaken, that is the entire US Navy. So, if we can sink them, that would be a pretty big win. Ammunition is looking decent. Some of my destroyers and torpedo boats have launched one spread of torpedoes each, but torpedoes are often fully resupplied as long as the Navy is within a supply port or range of a supply port, which they should be. So let's see how this goes. I got 2 more armored cruisers heading here to join in with the fleet. I've sent the one that was damaged and one more that had fired off a lot of ammunition back to port. Because this task force is right at the limit of the number of crew I can have in a task force, so I can't really make it bigger. I would love to add these 2 battlecruisers to it, but that would mean pulling other ships out of the task force to make room for them. And if this battle goes badly, then I will have lost every single modern capital ship. So the battlecruisers are staying out of this for now. Might bring them in next turn if there are any American ships left to deal with after the battle. Let's see how it goes. And we do get our meeting. Do the strike first. Farm some more victory points. And here we go. One of the 3 battleships is a pre-dreadnought. Okay. They got 2 of the Sentinel class dreadnought battleships, which we've seen. They're not that impressive. Pueblo class heavy cruisers. They're quite big. They got 11-inch guns. There we are. 11.4-inch guns, actually. So, they can punch back. Minneapolis, not quite so scary. Still pretty big, but only 7.5s. Definitely undergunned for the displacement. Montana, smaller, but 8.2-inch guns. Probably an older class. This is a probably from the start of the campaign. One of their starting ships, 4,000 tons. Same as mine. A bunch of light cruisers, which we've seen. Some of these have 5-kilometer torpedoes. The enemy destroyers might have 5-kilometer torpedoes as well. Not sure about the torpedo boats. Haven't seen those before. But that's where these 4,000-ton armored cruisers are coming in. They're going to be screening and potentially sinking after encountering all the torpedo boats and DDs. Well, here we go. This might either be an amazing victory or a horrible defeat. As I said, the older armored cruisers are going to be screening and potentially sacrificing themselves, but rather them than a $260 million dreadnought battleship. Bayezid is leading the formation. Not quite what I would like. Have these dreadnoughts sail out in front. The torpedo boats can hang around here, do donuts. the... Ah, darn it. You need to join back with these three. If everything is... let's see. There. You two will not be screening. You're a bit too valuable. And then bring you back to there. Alright. Destroyers. Let's see. Torpedoes off. And you're also just gonna be hanging out in reserve, kind of. Like so. I want these two dreadnoughts out in front, and then have these join in with those after they've passed. Normally putting cruisers out in front of your battleships to screen is very risky, because the enemy is going to be focusing their guns on them, because they would be closest. But these are so small, roughly 4,000 tons, so the enemy will get a negative accuracy modifier trying to hit them. They're kind of low on ammo. That's the one that was in the other battle. These two are fresh from port. By Z is also kind of low on ammo, but got a very low rate of fire, so that ammunition should last a while. Yeah, I'm being spotted. Both because my ships are big, easy to see, and because, well, the American cage mast providing excellent view range. You can slow down, and you can then be added to here. Perfect. Guns on save. Ooh, lucky hit. Maybe bring out one squadron of destroyers. Let's see, cruising speed is 13. Death ride of the old armored cruisers coming up. Now you can just chill out here, closer to the front. Alright, big guns. You will not be, okay, by Zed, you can actually focus. Well, not Pennsylvania, that's a pre-dreadnought. It's not threat, really. That's the least threatening ship in the US Navy, probably. And some of you have already, yeah, by Zed, you switch targets. Sentinel. That's your target. But now their smoke should be on cooldown, so hopefully we're not going to have a lot more target switching anytime soon. Let's see, torpedo boats, short-range torpedoes. Destroyers. Some of them have 5 kilometers, some of them have 1.8. Some of the torpedo boats have 3-kilometer torpedoes. Come on now. There we go. We are blapping them quite hard. I thought they were all out of smoke, but no, apparently not. So some ships have again switched targets. There we go. Hits being scored. So the reason these cruisers are going out this way is that if the enemy launches torpedoes at them, which I expect them to do, those torpedoes will not, if they miss, will not be on course to hit my battleships. Are we in torpedo range here? I do believe we are. These have 7-kilometer torpedoes. And we're just gonna launch them into the thick of the enemy destroyer formation. And then hopefully just hit something. These are going way off course because target they were aiming at was sailing that way. Alright, let's pick out some targets. For these old armored cruisers. See if maybe these 4-inch guns can actually do some something useful. We got incoming torps. Just because I consider these expendable doesn't mean I don't want to try to keep them alive. I think it might be over for this one though. Maybe squeeze through here. And if I'm lucky, the enemy ships might hit themselves with torpedoes. Yeah. That's one cruiser down. But considering these are... well, they're a little bit more costly than the enemy destroyers, but... do you think they are actually saving my battleships? Turn these around like so. Let's see, torpedo targets. And gun targets again. You've probably all switched to firing at the exact same targets or something. Sentinel, you've taken big hits from Bayezid the First. Once again, excellent gunnery out of the old pre-dreadnought. The rest of you need to be switching, need to be spreading out your fire. You two are getting away just fine. And meanwhile, while the enemy is focusing on my armored cruisers, just as planned, my big guns and torpedoes are scoring a lot of hits. I think we're good here. Destroyers also doing a good job baiting enemy torpedoes. Let's see. We're in decent shape. You, not so much. There we go. Another 17-inch hit on an enemy battleship. Biloxi, did you just take... No, that was not friendly fire. Kinda looked like it was. For a second. Oh, that was 9-inch gunfire from my own cruiser. Battleships are doing their thing. These destroyers are almost ready. I'm going to keep these in reserve a little bit longer. Because these two almost have their torpedoes back, and I want them going in against the enemy battleships. Now, I don't need my dreadnoughts to be focusing The Alaska. That's for the Bayezid to do. One incoming torpedo. Detonated. Okay. You're still afloat. No, wait. Just one of you. Let's hope this doesn't end up baiting torpedoes coming in against my battleships. One armored cruiser down. Took them a while. You're out of torpedoes. You've done a lot. This armored cruiser has done a lot. So did that one do. We're gonna get a torpedo hit on Alaska. 2 actually. So she's pretty much out of the fight. Now the more pressing matter here is once again torpedo boats. Bayezid still going for Alaska, which has taken a lot of damage from those 17-inch guns. Alaska goes down. That's one dreadnought battleship sunk. Sentinel is in surprisingly good shape. Low on hit points, but still afloat. So still firing back, presumably. They seem like they almost all have different torpedo ranges. Some 3 kilometers, some 1.8, some 2.5. Yeah, that's a lot of torpedoes incoming. Just not surviving that one. But with all those torpedoes flying around, wouldn't be surprised if some of them hit the enemy's own ships. We're almost in torpedo range of these enemy armored cruisers. Come on, one at a time. There we go. Have you launched yet? There you go. Now just egress. You're done. Okay, now, dreadnoughts, you're out of HE. That means you're gonna be, targeting armored cruisers with your main guns. 8-inch secondaries and go for the torpedo boats. My torpedo boats, you are up. I'm hitting torpedoes. Norfolk is gonna take a lot. Yeah, she might be going down from that. We only have 5-kilometer torpedoes on the torpedo boats. So they need to get a little bit closer than the destroyers, but they also have a lot more torpedoes per volley. No, don't care too much about Pennsylvania, but Sentinel would be nice to sink her. So far, I've kept the enemy torpedoes away from. I might actually get Sentinel. We just took some 17-inch hits. We've kept enemy torpedoes away from my battleships. So that part of the plan did work. It did cost me 3 armored cruisers, but they were getting retired anyway. Now, let's pick out the targets. There are 4 armored cruisers. I have 4 torpedo boats. It's pretty perfect. There we go. Nice. And some destroyers too, for good measure. I think we're gonna get some torpedo hits out of that. Surprisingly, not as many as I thought. Now, destroyers, you've got lots of torpedoes. But the targets are not really in range yet. They're gonna get a little bit closer first. Turn this way. I'm gonna try and cross-torp them. Sentinel goes down. By Z, you can target an armored cruiser. Now you two. Again, mainly the armored cruisers are the primary targets here. Bit of a chaotic brawl, this battle, but going well enough. And they're all going after 94-5. Which is a bit damaged. Put your guns on Bloomer. Okay, Bloomer. How much have you done by Z? 69,000, nice. -5 might not survive to reload her torpedoes. You're good. Could see torpedo hits against those armored cruisers, maybe. But that's rather hopeful at that range. There you go. Trying to get some of that, like, intercepting hits stuff going on. Or you aim at one target and you hit the one behind it. Quincy, 48 million. Pennsylvania, also 48 million. Quincy is a bigger target, though, despite being a cruiser. You almost got your torpedoes back. There we go. Sadly, Missoula was heading out of range. So, Minneapolis was the next best target. -8 and O2 almost reloaded torpedoes. Battleships are running low on ammunition. It says Celebi, you only have HE left. Why don't you target something with less armor? Azid also has only HE left. -5 might not make it. Pretty pleased with my destroyers, though. Was that a that was probably a one-shot kill from the 17-inch guns. HE pen for what? 100,000 damage? Alright, you're gonna keep firing at light cruisers, because that was very effective. See, Feta, you also had AP left. You got more torpedoes to share. The 4-inch guns to use on those torpedo boats. They got how much armor? 0.2. Okay, I think actually the HE was better. .5, yeah. Well, that's a more appropriate AP target. We're not hitting much, though. And Bayezid is out of ammo completely. So there will be a round 2 to this battle. And for that one, I am bringing in my my battle cruisers, I think. Let's see. Guns on Black Hawk. Torpedoes on Norfolk. Yeah. Let's do one at a time. Salem, that's a big target. Dallas, that's not a big target. -2, you can turn back this way. I should bring you into range of Salem. Missoula sinks. That's nice. That was a big armored cruiser. There you go. Torpedoes are in the water. And we do strike Norfolk with torpedoes, and she goes down. Good. Some of my battleships still have ammunition left. It's not much, but it's some. We'll go for Pennsylvania. I think something ate the torpedoes that were meant for Salem. What kind of armor did you have, Salem? 10-inch main belt. At what quality? Plus 75. Can't really go through that. We're a bit too tough. We can keep firing at the destroyers. Not that many salvos left of AP from the battleships. It would be very nice to reduce their tonnage by, like, a lot. At least they're not interrupting my invasion. And their targets keep popping in and out of view because of the smoke screen. I have to reassign them all the time. There we go. Good hits on Sinclair. Beta out of ammo. Bazid out of ammo. But Celebi, 5 rounds left. Hit something. Yeah, battleships, you're done. You can get out. These armored cruisers have a lot of ammunition left. They just can't really do that much to the armored cruisers, or maybe they can. It's a good aft-built pen. You know, that should be the optimal cruising speed. I'm losing sight of the enemy now that the battleships are all leaving, because these cruisers don't actually have that good tower spotting. Let's do Dallas, because we can pen that with AP, and we got plenty of AP left. Small target though. There we go, good hits. I don't think it's gonna take a lot of hits to sink the Dallas. But it will require hits, and we're just not scoring those hits. So it's back to the smaller targets with the remaining HE. It's mainly the wing turrets that have ammo remaining. Even that is dwindling. That Richmond K turn are gonna sink. I think it is, yes. Okay, back to Salem. Sailing around in the middle of the enemy fleet, making sure that every shot that misses hits something else. That's very considerate of you, Salem. Let's go for dent. Maybe hit the bloomer by accident. Des Moines. That's a good target. Expensive one. 56 million. But will we be able to sink it? That's a question. I hit some of these DDs now, I think. Oh. That's a huge mass of enemy ships still. And we might sink the Quincy. Would be nice. Yeah, we're gonna get the Quincy. And it's something else too. Perfect. Yeah, that was the bloomer. Finally caught some rounds, sinking it. Alright. Let's call it. That was a pretty good victory. Lost 4 ships. The 3 sacrificial armored cruisers and a torpedo boat. We sank 24. 3 armored, no wait. Yeah, 3 armored cruisers. Good trade there, because theirs were a lot more expensive. And 3 lights. Quite a few destroyers. Quite a few torpedo boats. That could have gone so much worse. Had it not been for the sacrifice of these cruisers. Yeah. Alright. So there will be a round 2 to this battle. Let's see, how many crew are there in this task force now? 10,175. Out of 12,000. I need to make space for these. That requires 2,600 crew. That's what I get from for not giving them cramped crew quarters. We can send Bayezid back to port. Lisbon. Yeah, that should make room for the 2 battlecruisers. Let's see, Cape Verde. Also tempting to take Brazil from them. It's in the Central Atlantic, and, you know, I'm spreading out here anyway. Because this is Central Atlantic. And so is this. So yeah, might take Brazil once this is done. Send this task force down here. Right. Yeah, they got 19 ships left. Repairing 15. So quite a few of those ships I damaged have been sent home for repair. Yeah, this is no longer such a scary task force. Alright, but we're gonna have to see next time what comes of this battle. And what comes of the US Navy. Wonder where they all went to. Probably, yeah, probably here, yeah? Some of the ones that were not that heavily damaged might just, reappear back in the task force. Well, anyway, that's it for now. Goodbye, and take care.